somehow Joan has twisted this, what's happening, what's going on between her and I, into some that I am against peer support. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. I am not against peer support. So let me just say, Joan, if you see this, I am not against peer support. So that is some fabrication that she has made up in her mind. What I am strongly suggesting is that advocates within the addiction reset community need to be educated on what their boundaries are, what is it within their scope of practice to do, and what is beyond their scope of practice. There are boundaries, there are ethical boundaries, things that require a license to do when you are crossing the line into psychotherapy. But Joan would like the advocates to believe that there are no boundaries, and she is citing some government agency. But so I strongly encourage, if you are an advocate in the addiction reset community, and the reason why I'm putting this out here publicly is because Joan has made it so where I'm no longer in the community, so I have to do it. I have to put it out this way in order to try and get it to people who need to hear this, because you're setting yourself up for, if you go beyond your scope of practice and traumatize or re-traumatize someone, and you aren't equipped to handle that, you are setting yourself up to re-traumatize the member that you're trying to help. And I believe that you are doing that in good conscience, but are you going beyond your scope of practice? And you set yourself up that person can sue you, can come back and sue you. And Jones wants to say that it's that she's based in Washington State. That's where the company is based at, and so the laws of Washington don't require you to have licensing to do what you're doing. And I'm not going to argue that. I'm not here to argue that. But what I am here to say is, that's all well and good, but what if you're an advocate that isn't in the state of Washington? If you don't live in the state of Washington, those laws don't apply to you. In my opinion, what Joan should be doing, what the addiction reset community should be doing, what the FARA training should be doing, is educating advocates on what their boundaries are, what their scope of practice is, and how to find out what they are in the state in which they are practicing, because those are the laws that apply to them. It doesn't matter that the company is based in Washington State. What matters is what state that advocate lives in and what the laws are for them. So the laws for me in the state of Missouri are going to be different for maybe someone who lives in Arizona or who lives in Washington, and definitely going to be different for someone who lives outside of the United States. So, it is up to each individual advocate to know what laws they are binded by in the state in which they live or the country in which they live. So, yeah, but Joan would like you to believe that there are no boundaries, that you can do whatever you want in peer support, that there's no laws, there's no boundaries, there's no ethical guidelines. And that's just not true.